Namaskar, this is Nirja, and you are listening to Travel World Online. News highlights of the day. Digital transformation will be a critical driver of growth, Amitabh Kant. The city of Bareilly gets its first EV fast charging station. GTIS to be a gamechanger for attracting investment in tourism sector. Vistara takes a step towards sustainability. ATM hosts annual ITIC Middle East Tourism Investment Session. Report highlights strong rebound of Indian tourism and hospitality sector. Now, news and details. Tourism will be a key driver of growth. India is the fifth largest economy in the world and is expanding to be the third largest. Digital transformation has been one of the key drivers of India's economic growth, said Amitabh Kant, G20 Sherpa, at the India Tourism Conference organized by ASSOCHAM. Every Indian has a digital identity. From 2015 to 2017, about 500 million bank accounts have been opened, or 55% of all the bank accounts opened in the world. The seeding of these bank accounts with digital identities has made the mobile a virtual bank. India's digital payments are about 11 times of Europe and America and 4 times of China. We do 46% of the real-time digital payments in the world. India has the opportunity to take its learnings to the world, as digital transformation will be a critical driver of growth going forward. Tourism is not only a driver of growth, it is also a driver of job creation. When India turns 100 in 2047, it will still be the youngest country in the world with the average age of the population at around 30. We will be the provider of almost 25% of the workforce in the world, added Kant. Nature of travel and tourism has changed, from the British and American in the 50s to the Japanese in the 70s, Koreans in the 90s, and the Chinese in the 2000s. The 2030s and 40s will be the era of Indian travelers, which will redefine the world. It is also important for India to build unique experiences around the country so that Indians can rediscover India. From Bali to Envy to Switzerland, Indians are becoming the key drivers of hospitality in many ways. There cannot be a better sector to create jobs than travel and tourism. It has a massive direct and indirect multiplier impact, along with job creation, handloom, handicraft, and culture all benefits. India is unique and should be positioned as an experiential, sustainable, and green destination, he said. In a significant development for EV users in Bareilly, Statik, India's largest EV charging network, has launched a public fast EV charging station at the premises of the city's popular Hotel Ramada Encore by Windham, located at the civil lines. The initiative will add to the ongoing and larger drive for increased EV usage in the state of Uttar Pradesh and indeed all over India. At the same time, it will also complement the UP government's ongoing efforts towards promoting green mobility in the state. This charging station is equipped with 2 DC chargers of 60 kW. Each single gun enables to charge electric cars up to 80% in about 40 minutes only, and 2 AC chargers of 3.3 kW each, providing both fast and slow charging services. All types of 4-wheelers and 2-wheelers with different EV technologies can be charged at this station. As a leading smart city, smart and renewable mobility options along with the supporting infrastructure must be made available for the people of the city. This becomes even more pressing due to the city often being identified as one of the most polluted in the state. So, keeping all that in mind, we are indeed delighted to have partnered with Ramada by Windham for setting up this charging station at their property in Bareilly. With this move, we also wish to strengthen the hands of the UP government, which has embarked on a commendable path to promote EV usage as a part of their broader comprehensive electric mobility plan in the state. At the same time, we are also planning to build on this partnership with Ramada Group and would install more such charging stations at their properties across the country in the coming future, said Navdeep Sinha, led projects, Statik. Ramada Bareilly is the pioneer hotel in Bareilly to have EV charging station, and we are committed to reducing carbon footprints, and under their Windham Green program, Ramada Encore by Windham Bareilly Civil Lines has become the very first hotel in Bareilly which have EV charging facility in town. To promote and facilitate existing EV customers, we are offering 10% discount on our F&B services by using EV charging facility at our hotel, said Manish Dutt, General Manager, Ramada Encore by Windham, Bareilly. In recent weeks, the UP government has instituted a comprehensive EV policy setting out guidelines for land lease and revenue sharing models along with incentive mechanisms for both government and private players with a view to ramping up EV charging infrastructure within the state. With India looking to become a $1 trillion tourism economy by 2047, the Ministry of Tourism, MOT, is aiming to draw domestic as well as foreign investment in the sector. What is expected to help the country MOT its various destinations for tourism investment purposes? MOT is organizing the maiden edition of the Global Tourism Investors Summit, GTIS, in New Delhi later this year in partnership with Investment Pro MOT Ion Agency, Invest India, and Confederation of Indian Industry, CII. The event was earlier expected to take place in May, however, the event has been now postponed. While addressing tourism and hospitality players at a roadshow recently organized in Mumbai to seek inputs from stakeholders on how to make the forthcoming GTIS a success, G. Kishan Reddy, Minister for Tourism, Culture and Dunya, said, considering the plethora of experiences the Indian tourism industry offers, such as wellness tourism, adventure tourism, ecotourism, rural tourism, spiritual tourism and several others, both the state and central governments recognize the role that tourism can play in driving economic growth. Therefore, private investment, particularly in hotels and other tourism-related infrastructure, is critical. The primary goal of the GTIS summit is to highlight India's travel and tourism sector as an ideal investment destination and give investors, as well as the central and state governments, a unified forum to explore investment opportunities. The participating states will have the opportunity to showcase strengths and unique offerings in terms of investable-ready projects in the states to attract investments for tourism infrastructure. The summit is also expected to facilitate meaningful discussions and collaborations between the government and the private sector to promote the speedy growth and development of India's tourism industry. The first GTIS 2023 is being organized in partnership with Invest India as the Investment Pro MOT Ion and Facilitation Partner, and Confederation of Indian Industry, CII, as the industry partner, with the objective of providing a common platform for global and domestic players to interact and explore investment opportunities in the Indian travel and hospitality sector. The summit offers an opportune platform for investors from the G20 countries to explore the Indian tourism industry products among other areas of bilateral multilateral engagements. Vistara, a joint venture of Tata Group and Singapore Airlines, became the first Indian airline to operate a commercial domestic flight on a wide-body aircraft using sustainable aviation fuel, SAF. This historic feat was achieved on Vistara's brand-new Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, flying from Indira Gandhi International Airport, IGIA, Delhi to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport, Mumbai, using a blend of 17% SAF with 83% conventional jet fuel. On this flight, Vistara was able to reduce approximately 10,000 pounds of co-emissions. This pioneering initiative is part of Vistara's ongoing efforts to minimize its carbon footprint and support a sustainable future for the aviation industry. Last month, Vistara operated a wide-body aircraft on a long-haul international route using sustainable aviation fuel, first time for an Indian airline. A blend of 30% SAF and 70% conventional jet fuel was used on a ferry flight between Charleston International Airport, South Carolina to Indira Gandhi International Airport, Delhi, which resulted in the reduction of approximately 150,000 pounds of CO2 emissions over the fuel's life cycle. Vinod Kannan, Chief Executive Officer, Vistara, said, "We have always been committed to driving sustainability and innovation in aviation. and are delighted to carry out yet another industry-first initiative of operating a commercial flight on a wide-body using SAF. We are thankful to our partners and the relevant authorities for their support. Vistara, along with other airline companies of the Tata Group, has been working extensively towards the reduction of carbon emissions through the use of sustainable technologies. Last year, they signed an MOU with the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Indian Institute of Petroleum to collaborate on the research, development and deployment of sustainable aviation fuels, SAFs. Vistara is also working through the Carbon Offsetting and Reduction Scheme for International Aviation, CORSIA, to lower CO2 emissions for international flights and to curb the industry's impact on climate change. Exploring the economic outlook for regional tourism, the session also delved into the relationship between sustainability and investment in the sector, as well as the growing opportunities for women in the Middle East, focusing on Oman as a case study. Hosted by Gerald Lawless, Director ITIC Ltd, Invest Tourism Ltd and Ambassador WTTC, the summit opened with Nicolas Mayer, Global Tourism Leader PwC, and Nicholas MacLean, Chairman and Managing Director CBRE Middle East. Sharing an optimistic view on the market, MacLean said, "One of the key asset classes which is attracting special interest, particularly in the GCC, is the opportunity for investors to capitalize on the hospitality industry. The profile of investors in the GCC is much more long-term than in other markets around the world. Saudi Arabia is a particular growth area for the GCC region, with the kingdom recording 93.5 million tourists in 2022. Commenting on the investment situation in Saudi, Mayer said, "In Saudi Arabia, there is an acceleration of not just hotels and rooms, but the creation of entire destinations, which entails a number of different asset classes, be it in entertainment, human capacity building, or experiences. The tourism industry is seen as a transformational sector when it comes to meeting sustainability goals, and the sustainability aspect is now front and center when it comes to investment in the kingdom." The sustainability segment of the ITIC session was moderated by BBC anchor Samir Hashmi, and the speakers for this session included Amr El-Kadi, CEO, Egyptian Tourism Promotion Board, Dr. Abed Al-Razak Arbiat, Managing Director of Jordan Tourism Board, Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism Jamaica, Raki Phillips, CEO, Ras Al Khaimah Tourism Development Authority, Meher Abu Nasr, Vice President Operations, KSA, IHG, and Hamza Farooqi, Founder and CEO, Millat Investments. In terms of the challenges that sustainability presents to the tourism industry, aligning green policies across the public and private sector was highlighted as a priority. Global cooperation across countries is also vital as industry players work towards a common sustainability goal. The panel agreed that beyond policy, people are the most important consideration when it comes to sustainability in tourism. Bartlett concluded, "Globally, tourism is the fastest recovering industry since the pandemic, but growth has to be in harmony with sustainability. It's about building people, because tourism is about people. We want to make sure that the beneficiaries of tourism are the drivers of tourism. Tourism is about the environment, and without the environment there is no tourism, therefore the sector has to be the custodian of climate management." Nasdaq listed Criteo SA, the commerce media company, has partnered with Skift Research, a leading industry intelligence platform, to launch the Skift Travel Health Index. The index allows the industry to better understand the growth of travel around the world, including in Asia Pacific, APAC. The report includes Criteo's travel-related commerce data and offers real-time insights into the state of travel recovery across 22 countries, including India. On India and global travel trends, the report highlights the following insights. Indian travelers remain optimistic about travel spending despite economic slowdown. Indian travelers are optimistic about the economic conditions in the country, with 60% of respondents stating that the economic slowdown will not impact their travel spending plans. This is in contrast to 50% of the respondents from other countries like the US, UK, and Australia who believe that the economic conditions will worsen, and their company has already started to scale down business travel. India is the frontrunner in Asia Pacific's rebound. India leads the way in tourism rebound among Asia Pacific countries, with 86% of Indian travelers showing confidence in travel plans for the year, according to Booking.com. The recovery has been fueled by the major population share of Generation Z and millennials, who are the most eager to travel. Indian travelers expect surge in business and leisure travel spending. According to the report, Indian travelers are optimistic about their travel spending, with 94% expecting an increase in business travel spending in 2023 compared to 2019, and 74% of respondents anticipating an increase in personal spending on leisure travel this year. Strong rebound in hotel and aviation industry. The report emphasizes that India's aviation industry has shown promising growth, with domestic travel surpassing pre-pandemic levels in early 2022, and international travel following suit by the second half of 2022, performing even better than 2019 levels. As of the first quarter of 2023, both domestic and international travel demand remains strong. In terms of hotels, the hotel published rates in India have significantly increased by an average of 35 to 40% compared to 2019 levels over the past year. India's travel industry has become a prominent player in the Asia-Pacific region, filling the void left by the absence of Chinese tourists and contributing to the industry's overall growth. As a result, international hotel chains, such as Marriott, and other brands are showing interest in expanding their properties across the country, generating positive outlooks for the Indian travel industry's future. That's all in Bulletin. For the latest updates, keep listening to Travel World Online Radio with you always. Kabhi bhi, kahi bhi.